Ozempic is everywhere right now. Celebrity weight loss stories, doctor endorsements, headlines calling it a miracle solution. But here's the problem. Ozempic isn't fixing the thing that caused weight gain in the first place. It's just putting the symptoms on mute for a while. The drug works by imitating a hormone your body already makes called GLP-1. Normally, GLP-1 tells your pancreas to release insulin after meals and signals your brain that you're full. Ozempic overstimulates that same signal, so you eat less and your stomach empties slower. It's clever chemistry, but it's not healing your metabolism. It's hijacking it. So yes, people lose weight at first because they're simply eating far fewer calories. But there's a catch. While the scale shows progress, the metabolism quietly slows down to match the lower food intake. Your body thinks it's entering a famine. That means fewer calories burned while resting, weaker muscles, and more fatigue. And once the shots stop, hunger hormones rebound hard. Appetite surges, and because metabolism has slowed, gaining the weight back happens almost overnight. It's the ultimate seesaw, one that leaves you metabolically weaker than before. Here's what many people don't realize. Ozempic doesn't build strength. It doesn't preserve lean tissue, and it doesn't repair energy production. It only reduces appetite. For older adults, that loss of appetite can be risky in multiple ways. Clinical data show Ozempic delays stomach emptying, causing common side effects like nausea, constipation, and dizziness, and that roughly half the weight lost is actually lean tissue, not fat. You can lose not just body fat, but valuable muscle and bone mass that you need to stay independent. Sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, already threatens mobility and balance as we age, and rapid drug-induced weight loss speeds that decline. Every pound of muscle lost lowers resting metabolic rate and makes insulin resistance worse in the long run, not better. That's the metabolic trap. The drug appears to fix the symptom, weight, but it quietly worsens the system, energy metabolism. Underneath, think of metabolism as an orchestra. Ozempic just asks the brass section to quiet down. So the symphony sounds smoother, but meanwhile the strings are completely out of tune. Without proper nourishment and energy signaling, your mitochondria, the tiny power plants in each cell, start producing less ADP. That's the body's fundamental energy currency. Less ADP means slower repair, duller cognition, and that washed out fatigue that too many older adults accept as normal aging. You might think, but if I'm eating less, shouldn't my body burn stored fat efficiently? It would if the liver, muscles, and gut microbiome were in good shape. But when inflammation and insulin resistance are already in play, the body doesn't just burn fat cleanly. It also breaks down muscle and sends confused signals to store more visceral fat. That's belly fat that crowds the liver and pancreas, worsening blood sugar control. Ozempic doesn't stop that process. It temporarily distracts it. In fact, in some long-term trials, up to 2/3 of the weight lost came back within a year after stopping. Here's where it gets especially concerning for seniors. When calorie intake drops sharply, protein intake usually falls too. That's not just a hunger issue, it's a tissue issue. Muscles and organs don't get the amino acids they need for maintenance. The immune system weakens, balance declines, and the brain, which depends on steady amino acid supply for neurotransmitter production, starts to struggle. You might lose pounds, but also lose focus, mood stability, and resilience. When researchers looked closely at Ozempic's effects in older populations, they found new malnutrition risks and vitamin deficiencies emerging, especially in people already consuming low-protein diets. Now, let's talk about the psychology of it. Ozempic changes how food feels, but it doesn't change why we reach for it. Comfort eating, sugar cravings, habit-driven snacking. Those behaviors come from dopamine reward loops in the brain, not just hunger signals in the stomach. The drug numbs the appetite portion, but not the reward circuitry. That's why many people still crave the same ultra-processed comfort foods. They just crave smaller amounts until the drug wears off. Once it does, the old reward loop kicks back in full force. Unless the underlying food environment changes, the metabolism slides right back into reactivity mode. There's also a physiological adaptation taking place. The more you artificially manipulate GLP-1, the less responsive your natural system becomes. Your body gets used to the pharmacologic shortcut and dials down its own production. So coming off the drug doesn't just bounce you back to baseline. It drops you below it for a while. Energy plummets, cravings intensify, and psychological reliance deepens. That's why some people feel worse off the medication than before they started. The body's natural rhythm was paused instead of retrained. Now, none of this means Ozempic is bad. For many people, it's a powerful medical tool used under professional supervision to break through dangerous obesity or uncontrolled diabetes. But it becomes a problem when it's seen as a standalone cure rather than a temporary bridge, without nutritional repair. Specifically, re-energizing the liver and gut, your metabolism can't sustain what the drug delivers. And once the injections stop, all that borrowed success evaporates. Older adults, especially, need a different approach, one that focuses on restoration rather than suppression. Because at 60 or 70, rapid weight loss without metabolic repair can cost more than it gives. You might fit into smaller pants, but if you're weaker, more tired, and less steady on your feet, that's not real progress. Real metabolic health is about energy stability, not just body size. It's about how strong your cells are, not how empty your stomach is. So instead of asking, how do I lose weight fast? A better question is, how do I teach my metabolism to work again? Quick shortcuts can't do that. You need to feed your biology, not fight it. When your liver, gut, and brain start communicating again through the right nutrients, protein, fiber, and real food signals, ADP production ramps up naturally. Hunger stabilizes. Mood lifts. You trust your body again. And that brings us to the bigger picture. If Ozempic isn't fixing metabolism, what's actually breaking it? What's behind the energy loss, the insulin confusion, and the creeping fatigue that push so many people toward quick fixes in the first place? The answer isn't in your genes or your willpower, it's in your grocery cart. Because the true metabolic disruptor isn't age or appetite. It's the constant stream of ultra-processed, sugar-laced foods that hijack the very organs meant to protect you. That's where the real story begins. The real culprit, ultra-processed, and sugary foods. All right, so if Ozempic isn't fixing metabolism, what's actually breaking it? The answer hides in almost every packaged food aisle. Ultra-processed foods. It sounds like a buzzword, but it's the single best phrase to explain why our modern diet makes our metabolism weaker instead of faster. These foods aren't just unhealthy snacks. They're chemically tweaked, fiber-free, nutrient-empty products designed to hit the pleasure centers of your brain faster than real food can. They barely resemble the ingredients they came from. Think about most breakfast aisles: boxed cereals, pastries, instant oat packets, meal replacement shakes, fruit juices. The ingredient lists read like chemistry experiments. Refined flours, seed oils, emulsifiers, flavor enhancers, sweeteners, stabilizers. Every one of those additives confuses the system that manages energy and appetite. Your body expects a meal to contain nutrients and fiber, so digestion takes time. But ultra-processed foods rush through that process in minutes. Insulin spikes, blood sugar wobbles, and dopamine fires off like a slot machine. The short-term result feels like energy. The long-term effect is exhaustion. Here's the key misunderstanding. Calories aren't the real issue. Signals are. Your metabolism doesn't just count food. It interprets it. It reads texture, fiber content, amino acids, vitamins, and even microbial molecules from your gut. Ultra-processed foods send nonsense signals. They say, plenty of energy incoming, but deliver no micronutrients for the liver to run its ADP machinery. The brain, expecting steady fuel, gets a jitters, then crash pattern instead. Over time, that mismatched messaging makes your hunger hormones unreliable. You eat, but the body doesn't feel satisfied. You crave more, even when calorically full. That cycle slowly shuts down metabolic efficiency. Now let's look at the worst offender in that mix, added sugar. And I'm not just talking about spoonfuls in coffee. I mean hidden sugars in condiments, flavored yogurts, pasta sauce, nutrition bars, and baked goods labeled low fat. Fructose and sucrose, the main forms of added sugar, do something glucose alone doesn't. They target the liver directly. Research shows that just 2 sugary drinks a day can double fat accumulation inside liver cells. That microscopic fat isn't harmless storage. It clogs the very mitochondria that produce ADP, the molecule responsible for cellular energy. Once liver ADP drops, the whole body slows down. You feel sluggish because biochemically you are. Let's make that practical. Say an older adult has orange juice and toast for breakfast, a sandwich and diet soda for lunch, and a frozen dinner in the evening. That sounds balanced enough, but it's actually a steady flow of refined sugar and artificial additives hitting the liver from morning to night. The glucose spikes raise insulin, the fructose converts to fat, and the artificial sweeteners disrupt gut bacteria that would normally help regulate blood sugar. Within weeks, the liver is storing fat instead of efficiently burning it. That's how energy decline actually begins. Not from age, but from repeated signals that scream store rather than burn. A 2025 review of sugar metabolism helps explain why. Fructose is metabolized almost exclusively in the liver, where it bypasses the usual regulatory checkpoints. It doesn't trigger satiety hormones, and it doesn't feed muscle cells directly. Instead, it gets converted into triglycerides and stored fat. Those lipids gum up mitochondria and reduce ADP output. That reduction triggers cravings because the brain senses low energy and mistakenly demands more sugar to fix it. It's a self-perpetuating loop. The more sugar you eat, the less energy you actually get from it. Even artificial sweeteners, those zero-sugar substitutions, come with their own trap. Human studies now show that sweeteners like saccharin, sucralose, and aspartame can alter gut microbiome composition, especially in seniors. Animal experiments confirm they reduce beneficial bacteria like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, both crucial for nutrient absorption and inflammation control. And get this, people who consumed high levels of artificial sweeteners in midlife experienced a 62% faster rate of cognitive decline decades later. The gut-brain connection is real. When the microbiome loses diversity, inflammatory molecules rise, insulin resistance worsens, and the brain ends up tired, foggy, and less responsive to energy cues. So, sugar overload wrecks the liver. Artificial sweeteners wreck the gut. And ultra-processed foods wreck both at once by combining high doses of each. The result? A body that thinks it's starving in the middle of abundance. Every cell is surrounded by fuel it can't properly use. That's why metabolic syndrome, fatty liver, high blood sugar, high triglycerides can appear even in people who don't overeat. It's not about quantity. It's about communication failure between food and metabolism. For older adults, that failure shows up in 3 classic signs: constant fatigue, stubborn belly fat, and creeping brain fog. The same trio that doctors often label normal aging. But those are just symptoms of an energy bottleneck. When liver cells fill with fat from excess fructose, they start producing less ADP. Fewer energy molecules mean slower detoxification, weaker digestion, and reduced blood sugar control. Add microbiome imbalance from sweeteners and a diet low in fiber, and you've silenced two of your major metabolic repair systems at once, the liver and the gut. What's surprising is how fast things can change in the right direction. Studies show that when participants cut out sugar-sweetened beverages and replaced them with water, liver fat began dropping within weeks. Insulin sensitivity improved, daytime alertness returned. That's not theory, that's metabolic flexibility coming back online. See, the human body is designed with layers of redundancy. It wants to heal. It just needs the chemical noise to stop long enough for clarity to return. Here's another overlooked issue. Processed food and sugar pair dopamine spikes with insulin spikes. It's a double hit that makes the brain associate sweetness with reward and energy, even though the energy part is fake. Over time, your brain learns that pattern and starts chasing the sensation, not the nourishment. That's how habits like late-night snacking or daily desserts stick around long after actual hunger is gone. Breaking that association takes more than willpower. It takes rewiring the brain's reward system with foods that give steady satisfaction instead of the rush and crash sequence. So, why does this matter more with age? Because the older liver isn't as forgiving. It regenerates slower, clears fat slower, and produces less glutathione, one of its natural detox molecules. That means every sugary beverage, every processed snack, puts extra strain on an organ already working overtime. Combine that with lower digestive enzyme output and reduced microbiome diversity, and you've got the perfect storm for energy collapse. Fatigue isn't random, it's metabolic burnout. Now, nobody's saying you should never touch a treat again. The point is structural. When ultra-processed and sugary foods dominate, your metabolism spends its entire day in reaction mode. Spike, crash, crave, repeat. When real foods dominate, the pattern flattens into calm consistency. Energy steadies. Focus returns. Hunger behaves. Your body stops fighting itself and starts functioning like the efficient machine it was designed to be. So yes, Ozempic can temporarily quiet appetite, but ultra-processed foods are the real disruptors. They hijack brain chemistry, clog liver machinery, and deplete the gut's essential allies. Fixing metabolism means turning off those false signals. And that starts by going straight to the control room, the liver, because that's where every bit of this metabolic confusion began. Up next, we'll look at exactly how the liver turns food into energy and what happens when that process falls apart. That's where the real repair story begins. The liver, your forgotten metabolism engine. Most people think metabolism lives in their stomach or muscles, but the real power plant is hiding a little higher up, the liver. It's your body's biochemical headquarters, quietly converting everything you eat into usable fuel. Every bit of energy you feel, physical or mental, starts here. When it's working well, your liver keeps blood sugar stable, feeds your muscles, clears toxins, and cranks out ADP, the molecule your cells burn for power. When it's overloaded, energy production falters, fat accumulates, and that smooth internal engine sputters. What you feel next isn't normal aging. It's an energy shortage. Let's start with what the liver actually does. After a meal, it receives nutrients straight from the digestive tract. Think of it as a sorting facility or a car engine converting fuel into motion. Glucose goes one way to keep your blood sugar steady. Amino acids take another route to rebuild tissues. Fatty acids get packaged for later fuel. The liver decides what to burn, what to store, and what to detoxify. For that balancing act to succeed, it needs clean, predictable input like high-octane fuel. When that input gets messy, too much sugar, too little fiber, loads of processed fat, the system clogs like an engine filled with carbon deposits. Instead of packaging energy efficiently, it starts to stash it inside its own cells. That's when the trouble starts. The most damaging shift happens when too much sugar, particularly fructose, pours in at once. Unlike glucose, which can be burned throughout the body, Fructose is processed almost entirely in the liver. In small amounts, that's fine. It's easily converted into glycogen, the quick-response energy you use between meals. But excess fructose overwhelms that pathway. The liver starts turning the overflow into fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis. Those fat droplets build up in the liver's mitochondria, the tiny engines that make ADP, and choke them. Less ADP means slower detoxification, weaker metabolism, and more fatigue. It's like trying to power a city on half the electricity. When ADP production falls, every organ feels it. Your heart tires faster, your brain loses clarity, and even your immune defenses slow down. Over months and years, that low energy state creates a ripple effect, sometimes called metabolic inflexibility. The body stops switching efficiently between fuel sources. It gets locked in fat storage mode. Blood sugar drifts upward, insulin surges, inflammation spreads. Doctors label that pattern fatty liver or metabolic syndrome. But what it really represents is a cellular energy crisis. Each mitochondrion is producing fewer ADP molecules per meal, so the body compensates by asking for more food, more cravings, more sugar, and the spiral deepens. Now, layer aging on top of that. The older liver doesn't regenerate as freely as it once did. Its antioxidant levels drop, and its mitochondria divide more slowly. So damage that once healed overnight now lingers. Heavy sugar intake that a 30-year-old might shrug off can tip a 65-year-old into chronic fatigue. Researchers studying liver health in aging adults find that even slightly elevated sugar intake results in dramatically more fat accumulation than in younger subjects. And once that fat infiltrates the tissue, mitochondria work about 20% less efficiently. That's your daily energy gap. Here's the encouraging part. The liver also has the fastest turnaround when you feed it right. Cut down the sugar and ultra-processed foods, and within weeks, its fat content begins to fall. As the cells clear space, mitochondria breathe again, and ADP output rebounds. People often describe it as getting my spark back, not magic, just restored bioenergy. Clinical trials back this up. Participants who replaced sweetened drinks with water or simple protein-rich options reduced liver fat and improved insulin sensitivity in as little as 3 weeks. That's the body rebooting its power grid. Understanding that shift helps explain why older adults can suddenly feel younger just by altering breakfast. When you swap pancakes and syrup for eggs and berries, the liver's workload changes completely. Instead of coping with a glucose flood, it receives amino acids and antioxidants it can use for repair. Protein triggers glucagon, which tells the liver to release stored energy steadily. No spikes, no crashes. The result is consistent fuel flow and mental clarity that lasts most of the day. Meanwhile, the mitochondria get time off from emergency sugar processing and can focus on producing clean ADP from fat stores. That's what people actually mean when they talk about fat-burning metabolism. It starts here. Another crucial liver duty rarely mentioned is detoxification. Every time you're exposed to artificial additives, alcohol, or even medications, the liver uses energy to convert those compounds into safer forms. When ADP is low, that cleansing system slows and leftover toxins circulate. You might not feel it as poison, you feel it as foggy thinking, irritable mood, or just plain exhaustion after meals. Restoring liver energy through nutrient-dense foods gives detox enzymes the fuel they need, which is why many people notice clearer skin and steadier moods right alongside better lab results. So, what foods actually help the liver produce more ADP? The answer isn't exotic supplements. It's the basics that humans evolved to handle: lean proteins, legumes, high-fiber vegetables, and low-sugar fruits. Those provide a balanced mix of glucose for quick energy and amino acids for repair, wrapped in fiber that keeps absorption slow. Fiber also binds some of the bile acids that carry toxins out, lightening the detox load. Combine that with adequate hydration and moderate movement, like daily walking, and liver blood flow improves even more. Every small choice feeds into that larger repair process. Let's talk about fat for a second. Not all fat harms the liver. The problem isn't dietary fat itself. It's the combination of sugar plus fat hitting the bloodstream at once. That duo tells the liver, store everything. But when fat comes with protein and fiber, like salmon with lentils, the message changes. Insulin stays stable, glucagon and growth hormone coordinate fuel use, and the liver has no reason to manufacture extra fat internally. Food structure matters more than calorie count. You might be wondering, can the damage really reverse after years? In most cases, yes. Even people with early fatty liver disease have seen measurable improvements just by eliminating sugary beverages and increasing daily protein. Ultrasound scans show fat clearance, and energy reports match the lab data. The caveat: the liver needs consistency. One clean week followed by 3 high-sugar weekends won't cut it. Its enzymes adjust steadily over days, not hours. But once that adjustment locks in, momentum builds fast. Here's the mental shift that helps. Think of your liver not as an organ that punishes you for your diet, but as one that's constantly begging for simpler instructions. Every time you eat something unprocessed, high in protein, or rich in fiber, it breathes a sigh of relief and tunes its metabolism back toward balance. Every time you reach for refined sugar or overprocessed snacks, it has to throw emergency switches just to keep blood chemistry safe. Over time, those emergencies pile up, and that ties back to why people mistake fatigue and brain aging for something unfixable. When your liver's ADP output drops, your brain feels starved even if your belly is full. By restoring that energy engine, you give your neurons the steady glucose supply they need, reducing mental sluggishness and even lowering dementia risk over time. The liver, gut, and brain talk constantly through biochemical messengers. Healing one lifts the others. So before chasing the next diet trend or injection, start by remembering who's running the show behind the scenes. Your liver is the unsung champion of metabolism, the gatekeeper of real energy. Treat it like the engine it is, feed it protein and fiber instead of sugar and sludge, and it'll repay you with vigor you thought belonged to your younger self. Because metabolism doesn't fade with age. It falters from neglect. Give the liver clarity, and the rest of your body follows.